He's with Compassion and Choices. I want him to introduce himself. Sir, thank you for joining Hard Lens Media. To our viewing and listening audience who are listening to us on Q4 Radio, 1680 AM, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your organization?
Yes, sir. My name is Ken Cichon. I am a volunteer with Compassion and Choices. Compassion and Choices is the largest and oldest organization in the United States that has dealt with end-of-life care. And currently we are expanding our movement into Illinois. Illinois has been a gray state on our chart, meaning that there has been no action on any modern end-of-life care that we are all learning and exploring together.
So, yeah, and you actually have that on your website to where Illinois is, there's no pending legislation about end of life and really what needs to be done to help out people dealing with a situation that a lot of us do not want to deal with. I think a majority of us don't want to deal with because it's something that is at the back of our minds, and when it does come, where all of us are emotionally unprepared for. So what is the situation in Illinois in regards to this kind of crisis that a lot of people a lot of families deal with?
There is currently no legislation in Illinois right now to deal with end-of-life care. And just so you know, what we're specifically talking about is what we call medical aid in dying or death with dignity.
Right.
For those that can't put two and two together, basically you will, this is something that other states have made law. Right. We look at, like, Oregon was the first. And Washington State was the second, and we've seen, like, in the past few years, a lot of other states have joined, even Montana, Hawaii, Washington, D.C., and it's something that has broad support. And so what's going to happen is you're going to go to the doctor, and you're diagnosed with less than 6 months to live, and you have a terminal illness, and you're able to make choices for yourself, so you don't have Alzheimer's or anything like that.
Right. And just for a personal note, and it's still difficult to talk about, this summer my grandmother passed away, and she had Alzheimer's, and it was to the point to where, during that year before it happened this summer, that she was no longer the person that I once knew. My grandmother was somebody I could talk politics to, current events. She could bring up so many wonderful stories about movies or her time as a young woman in the city of Chicago. And, I miss her a lot. And it was a severe blow to my family. But when she had Alzheimer's, she wasn't that person. She was basically, whatever remained of her was trapped. And, I think a lot of people, when they see that, they don't know how to confront it and how to deal with that, because unfortunately, there are some laws stopping people from, ending their life should they not be able to fully function in society. So how do you guys deal with those that push back and say, no, we don't want that. Everyone deserves to live no matter what their current state. And, of course, like we're not calling for anything terrible to happen to anybody, right. But, I mean, bounds of reason. If you can no longer function, if you are in strict pain or you are no longer the person who you once were, there has to be a way out. But how do you deal with the pushback, especially from those that are very conservative and religious?
Right. I also think that you have to, I'm sure you tell me if this has been an issue that you've seen, that nursing homes, I'm sure, wouldn't like to lose that the money that they get from keeping people alive for so long.
Yeah, I don't want to speak directly to that too much, but I mean, I think if we look at how much end-of-life care costs on a daily basis between, the care you're receiving, the nursing inside of your home, the medications that you're taking, there's going to be some people that don't want to lose that source of revenue. As far as what you were speaking about, we don't like to make this a partisan issue at all.
Right.
We find that there is broad support amongst religious groups, amongst medical associations, amongst doctors, and amongst everyday people just about, what this is. And we try to speak to just the humane issue of it. And we find that gets pretty far. I was very impressed. When I first got involved with the organization, there was a screening of the film How to Die in Oregon in Evanston. And it was on a Thursday evening, and it was in July. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the library on a Thursday night and watch a movie with 5 or 6 people. It was packed. It was packed. There were so many people there. There is so much interest in this subject. I think the problem is it's taboo in some way, that we don't like to talk about death. It's not a great subject to, kick around the coffee table.
Right.
But we find that when we do start talking about it, we find broad support for, no one should have to live with suffering. No one, should have to deal with the pain. We should be able to go out on our own terms. That's what we push, and it's a human right.